Welcome back, folks. Democrats are pushing a bill to counter China. Republicans in the House are slamming it as very weak and ineffective, as you just heard. The Senate Republicans are all for it, unfortunately. And I think the thing's at its worst, especially as it regards trade. So we're going to bring in my great friend, former U.S. Trade Rep Robert Lighthizer. Brother Bob, it's good to see you. I can still say Happy New Year, even though it's a month old. We have not seen you. And I have not been to Florida. But what do you make of this? The House Republicans seem smarter than the Senate Republicans. But your big beef, and nobody's talking about this, is the trade problems with this China compete bill.
So it's good to be with you, too, and happy New Year to you, too, Larry. And everything's fine down here in Florida. We're waiting for you to come. So you're the only person I know that hasn't come so far. But so let's talk about this bill.
Yep.
The Senate a few months ago passed an innovation and competitiveness bill, and it spends a lot of money, in my judgment, money that needs to be spent. It subsidizes a lot of science, a lot of technology. It contributes to building fabs for semiconductors and does a lot of helpful things, in my judgment. One thing's for sure, we can't lose the technology competition with China. If we do, we're out of luck. So that's for sure. But then, like at the 11th hour, without hearings and without any markup and no regular order, they put a several hundred-page trade section in it. And this trade section is like a surrender to China. So it cuts tariffs on a bunch of stuff, but a lot of it is from China. It gives money back on exclusions, rebates for people who brought in imported products from China. And then it goes out and sets up a process that basically makes it very difficult for this president or any future president to take on the systemic anti-competitive practices of China, which is this Section 301 that you and I have spent so much time talking about. It's the statute that's the absolute center of the whole Trump policy, the Trump turnaround on China, the Trump taking on China, putting in place tariffs for their unfair trade practices and the like, trying to have us less dependent on them for imports. So that's Section 301. This bill, which I believe was written by China lobbyists and big business importers, and some people who are just naive. That's a very potent combination. And what this would do would make it very, very difficult for any president going forward to effectively use that very, very important enforcement statute.
Sure.
Now, the House has their own version, and the House does not have that provision in it. And I wrote an article on this that was in the New York Times a few months ago, and I just said the House has got to save the American worker from this trade part of the Senate innovation and competitiveness bill.
So these exclusions undermine completely the 301 tariffs. I believe there's still, what do we have, 350 billion, some odd, that are still in place.
Yeah, sure.
These are the weapons that Trump and you and all the rest of us used to bring China to the table and finally get a deal. We'll talk about the deal in the next segment. But this bill, the Senate version, and this little trade piece that you're describing would undercut that. There would be exclusions and carve-outs. And you're saying, let me get this right, the U.S. government, the taxpayers, would actually pay the companies who would escape the problems with China trade? I mean, I don't know, is that a Chamber of Commerce specialty or what?
So what it does is it lets people who had exclusions expire get the money back of the tariffs they paid. It is outrageous. But that isn't even the worst part, Larry. The worst part is it puts in place all kinds of poison pills to make it nearly impossible to use 301 again. Not only for President Biden, should he decide to do it, and some people in his administration, I'm sure, are tough and want to do it, but a next Republican president, which we're probably going to have here in the next few years, this would make it impossible for him also to take on China. I mean, this is really, really a gift for China and sort of hard to believe. And I can't believe the way it came in late at night, not regular order, no hearings, that anyone except for the lobbyists really knows what's in it.
Yeah, boy, that's a great. Just to make sure folks know, the 301 is, I'll just call it, gives us the power to enforce trade security by imposing tariffs. And they're undercutting that as exclusions wear off. They'll wear off. Exclusions will reappear, and they'll even get paid for any so-called damages. So it'll turn into a big spending bill on top of a weakened trade bill with China. You have to talk to Kevin McCarthy and, Kevin Brady and stuff, Bob. You've got to make sure they understand. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to keep you on. You're such an important guy. We're giving you your own second segment, which is extremely rare for this program. But we're honored to have you, Bob Lighthizer, back. When we come back with Ambassador Lighthizer, we're going to talk about the China trade deal itself. How is it doing? And, oh, by the way, are any American athletes going to get busted at these Olympic Games, which start this week? Anybody, Chinese surveillance, they're all over the place. An email, a text message, Lord knows what's going to happen over there. None of that's going to be good. I'm Kudlow. We'll come back with Ambassador Bob Lighthizer in just a second. Okay, I'm back with former U.S. Trade Rep Robert Lighthizer, Ambassador Lighthizer, one of the few to have a double segment on the Kudlow Show, and it is a great pleasure. Ambassador Lighthizer, how is the Chinese Phase 1 trade deal doing, in your best judgment?
So before I get to that, let me just very quickly make one point. We talked about 301 and its effect on our tariffs. This also would stop any future president from effectively using it at any time in the future unless they go to the WTO first. So it's far worse, and I want to make that clear.
Who's pushing this on the Republican side? Do you have any idea? I'm going to have to do some investigative journalism, because this is a bipartisan bill. Do you know about this?
This is bipartisan, and this trade part is bipartisan, and anyhow, let me get after the other question.
Never mind.
One of the reasons why I get along with people is I'm careful.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm not usually right. Go ahead. Tell us about China trade.
So here's Phase 1. Look, people are acting like this was a 2-year agreement. It was not a 2-year agreement. Let me just very quickly go through it. There were a whole lot of systemic changes that China had to do. And they were in technology transfer, protection of intellectual property, getting rid of agriculture barriers to trade in financial services and currency and the like. That is going pretty well, but that's a question of internal vigilance. The next part are the purchases, which were designed really to help American workers and farmers, but also to get the trade deficit down. Those did not go so well. They're pretty good in agriculture, not so good in other areas. But that's not just a 2-year thing. I tell people to read the agreement. The expectation is they're going to continue for the next 4 years. The final thing, which I think is missed, is that the tariffs continued in place. So we still have the benefit of those tariffs protecting our companies, and it's enforceable.
All right, well, that's good. But just think about this. With respect to China and with respect to the whole rest of the world, the U.S. trade deficit continues to grow. I mean, we always think it's unsustainable until it gets bigger. And then we say, well, that's unsustainable. And then it keeps getting bigger. And in fact, as you and I have talked, all these emergency pandemic so-called rescue bills really gave a lot of money to consumers who go out and buy cheap Chinese goods and increase our deficit even more. So the grand question is what to do about the trade deficit.
So I'm glad you asked that. I'm one who's, and as is President Trump, really concerned about the trade deficit. Last year, it was $1 trillion. Number one, that's a direct hit to GDP growth, so it slows down growth. But more importantly, to me at least, that means that's $1 trillion worth of U.S. assets that are going to be owned by foreigners, China a lot, but others, and all the future earnings of that $1 trillion worth of U.S. assets will go overseas. Our families are being impoverished in future generations. We're trading literally our third or fourth T-shirt or television set for the future ownership of enterprises in America, and it is just foolish. Somebody has to sit down there and do it and change it.
All right. It's a really tricky business. I hear you 100%, and I became under your tutelage, actually, a great believer in reciprocity, and sometimes you have to use tariffs as a weapon. Art Laffer says we're getting capital imports to cover the trade deficit exports. I know it's a controversial matter. One of these days we can have
let me just spend a second on I just want to say one.
I gotta get
all
out.
right.
I gotta get out. I love you. I gotta get out. I'm just saying. That's what Laffer's view. Ambassador Robert Lighthizer, thank you, sir.